Hello, hello. Good morning.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world on this very, very, very red day.
Very much so. If you're over in the UK on this side of the world, you've just woken up to see Ethereum, Bitcoin, and well, the rest of the world, it seems, in the red. And I take it you've been observing throughout the day in Australia, Liz.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of updates for the group today, obviously, because there's a lot of fear in the market. And, this is where bull runs commence at the bottom of this red. So we just need to remember this is the biggest buying opportunity we're probably ever going to get again. So once we get to that bottom, and this is going to be the opportunity of a lifetime. And I can't say that enough. I can't say enough how much it's been important to protect capital over the last couple of months, to not be over trading, to not be using all your bags, to not be leverage trading. So it looks like there was billions of dollars wiped off the market in leverage trades because people were longing their longs. So they kept adding to their longs as their longs went underwater. And that's when the markets go, okay, hang on a sec. There's a lot of longs in the market. Let's liquidate it. And that happened, sort of a cascading effect or a domino effect from the Nikkei and from the traditional markets, which we're going to have a look at soon. But what happens is traditional markets, their primary income is not crypto and it's not anything other than traditional markets. They do dabble in crypto. So when their longs or their shorts, whatever they're in at the time, go underwater, they then sell their crypto. So that it causes that domino effect. And that's what's happened today. So we haven't got a black swan event yet, but we're on the way to doing that because we're going to have a look at the VIX. I put that up on Twitter earlier, or X earlier. And it's a really strong indicator of what's happening in the market, whether this is, a small correction, a major sell-off, or a black swan event. So, so let's have a look first. The one I want to look at first is one that Josh has brought to my attention, which was the Lockheed Martin Corporation. And what do they do, Josh?
Lockheed Martin, yeah, so they are, one of the biggest defense companies in the world, especially in military technologies. It's might be a forewarning of conflict and war, but I don't want to put down your optimism at the start, but as you can see from the chart here, and as we are dabbling in your traditional markets, let's just put that disclaimer up that
exactly. So we need to express that the views that I'm expressing here are my own views, and these are not financial advice. So if you decide to trade these, they're on your own back. This is just purely my view of understanding how the markets work from having, over 25 years experience and understanding how Elliott Wave works and, how things kind of move. So again, I just want to express that this is not financial advice. We do normally look only at crypto, but we're going to have a look today at a few of the regular markets just because they are impacting crypto at the moment. So this is a really important chart, and I'm going to show you some other charts that are really important, just due to the fact that if the world does go into a war, and if this is actually a forebear for what is about to happen, this is going to continue to go up. So potentially this is the 1.618 is 729, which is massively huge for stocks to move. So if we have a look at the price range we got today, we had a bounce of like 30% on this, and that's huge. Cannot that's a crypto move. So it just doesn't happen in stocks all that often. So this is going to be one to watch, because if there is, sort of tensions globally, which there has been, and the financial wars that are going on behind the scenes, with BRICS, with the DXY, with that sort of stuff. And if you don't know what's happening, I've spoken about it before in the weekly wrap up and on Twitter. But BRICS is a really important thing to be watching, because it is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. I think they're trying to add more countries as we speak, but they are creating their own currency. They are taking on the Western world and trying to, this is financial warfare. So this is a huge thing, especially from those communist countries that we're seeing sort of joining together. So, do some research on that, because that's really worthwhile understanding what's going on there, because this is the monetary system is changing as we speak. So, so this is looking like it's going to continue up. So that does look like there's financial warfare and actual warfare happening, because these people make, what do they make? Like airplanes and, weapons of destruction.
Yeah, I mean, they're a defense company, so they are making war weapons. Just if you're interested in BRICS, as a spelling, it's BRICS. So unlike the usual house brick, remove the K, give that a Google. Have a little bit of research, see what they're up to. So Lockheed Martin. The interesting thing about this was, as obviously we saw the red in the market over the last day, from Japan and the yen and everything, Lockheed Martin pumped. So that's just an interesting correlation. But
yeah, it is. So this brings us into the Nikkei, so which is, basically was what happened this morning. I'm Australian Eastern Standard Time, so Japan's like on our doorstep, and this is what caused the cascading effect. This happened, then crypto dumped, Bitcoin, Ethereum, the whole entire market. So we have a look at this, and we see that we've got completed. So that's our wave one. We've come back down for a wave two, and then 1, 2, 3. This is potentially, this is our third wave, and this is our fourth wave. So if it breaks down below where it is now, this is then a completed wave structure, and we put that as 5 waves in. So there's several different ways of working out Elliott waves. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 5 waves in. But normally a third wave has 3 of its own, so a complete 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So with that being said, that would mean that this is a 4th wave. So this is our first wave, this is our second wave, and how that would work would be our 1, our 2, our 3, coming down for our 4, and then heading up for our 5. So that's the ideal scenario if we're going into a bull run. And then, obviously the Nikkei at that point has a deeper correction, another one, and it would probably come back down to around the 40s after, heading up to around 51. And that's kind of what is happening. But, I'm going to take some of this stuff off so we can just have a look what I'm actually sort of looking at. So this region here, which it is currently sitting at, if this is our 1, 2, 3, 4, and then going up for a 5 on the third wave, so that's our major third wave. So basically that would be our 1, that would be our 2, coming up for our major third wave, coming back down for a 4th, and then continuing up. So that's in the future. But right now, the immediate issue is if this breaks down below this, this is a completed wave structure. And that means that these 5 waves here are in, and this is then going down potentially lower. So it would look something like, so at the moment we're at the 382 on the fibs. So the next level's 28330, which is the 0.05, and then of course the 618. So being as it's a fourth wave predominantly, you know, I'm thinking this is a fourth wave. It should hold around this region. It should hold the wave one. So it's going to be an interesting week to see if the Nikkei gets a bounce or whether this is a deeper correction. Because if the Nikkei goes down and that's a deeper correction and it's in that alternate pattern, potentially the whole crypto market is going a lot lower. So a couple of these charts are really important to be watching because they are going to have that domino effect, as I keep saying. So if we head to the DJI, we can see that at the moment we're in the fifth wave and we're currently completed and we're in the fourth of the fifth. So that at the moment is holding fairly steady. So this is a monthly chart. So, you know, it's quite a high up chart. I'm going to drop it down to the weekly. And we can see that, you know, we've got quite a big drop. It's still holding the EMA. So the 9 and the 21 are holding that region. Let me just take that Elliott wave off. When this does go into correction, it does like to go into a multi-year correction. So this was December 21, finished October 22. And we can see, you know, July 23 to, that was actually a quick one, 3 months. But normally it'll go into a multi-year correction. At the moment, it's bouncing. So we want these charts to be bouncing in this region and not breaking down further. Because when they do break down further, again, that's when crypto is going to continue. So the SPX is another one and one that I've been looking at for a while. Now this wave one high is in yellow, which is 4994. And the green arrow, it is also the 200 and the 100 MA at that point on the weekly. So that's a very strong area of interest. And now if that comes down, that's a 618 on this chart. So yeah, and that's a huge drop for this market. And does show the market going into a recession. So when traditionals have a dip of about 20%, that then shows that there's a recession looming. So not happened as yet, but it's getting close. So we just need to be aware that that's the potential, and that's what the media is looking at the moment. I want, like, honestly, we want these charts to be holding this region because that ensures that we've got a really strong market moving forward. We should be seeing rate cuts coming in September, and that means we're going into a period of easing. We've now been in the quantitative tightening for about 18 months, and we're coming up to that easing. So with that being said, let's jump into Bitcoin and have a look where we're at. Now, this is a BLX. So the BLX doesn't show, it's not open yet, so it's not showing. So I'm going to need to, this is the ugly chart. So this is my alternate pattern that I kept telling everyone was an alternate pattern. Here we are. Here's the alternate pattern that I was hoping didn't happen. Was hoping we went to 87 first. We didn't get there. We didn't even hit the resistance. We turned down at that point. So yeah, we're at the support of this region. Our wave one high is around 30,000, 31,000. So that's going to be the interesting point. Now, so this is a WXYXZ pattern or Z pattern, depending where you are in the world. Now, don't shoot the messenger, but if the rest of those Nikkei, everything continue to go lower, this is going lower. So what that will look like is, let me get some waves. Potentially, hang on, I'm not going to go on 1, 2, probably a 3. I'll measure this in a second, coming back down. So potentially that's what we're looking at. Let me just take some of these off. They don't want to come off. Okay, so taking off these because they're not needed. We know that pattern. So as we can see that we've got potentially, 5 waves coming down. Now let me just measure and see how that looks, and potentially, what sort of levels we are looking at if it does continue to break down. So our 0.5 is way down here. So if we go 5 waves down, we're going 1, 2, 3, then a bounce, potentially to this region and coming down. So that will give us that 31,000. Now that is a massive, massive buying opportunity. I don't think this is, while we're going to see small bounces here, we're going to see, a lot of, over leveraged traders getting liquidated in this region. And that's where the money flow is going to be. But yeah, potentially this could be, what looks like what could be a multi-year correction. I have said that in the past, hoped it didn't happen. Or it could be the bottom in that region and then we shoot up, because this is a wave 3. So this is our wave 1. Looks like it could be complete. If we hold this region, then we've got a 5 to go. So yeah, it's sort of, we're waiting to sort of understand a little bit more about what the traditional markets are doing. And then we'll understand what the crypto market is doing. So, the traditional markets had something like 3 billion wiped off the other day. That's the entire crypto, like everything. So this is such a tiny market that, we complain when it gets a little bit red, but that's literally so much money when you think about it. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm seeing on Bitcoin at the moment. So there's those 2 patterns. If we do break this region that we're sitting on at the moment, which is our sort of 46, 47 range, breaking down from here, potentially we see a bounce at 27, coming back up to potentially around sort of 50 to 52, and then coming back down for that 31. So, there's going to be events that we're going to see sort of coming up within the news. Like I said, that financial sort of warfare that we're seeing at the moment with BRICS, very important for what's happening here.
Okay, so let's just sum this up a bit. So at the start, you were very optimistic.
I'm still very optimistic, but it's just, this is a short term that, everyone has to understand that we've got levels that we've got to, support. And if there's not any support on those levels, it's going to keep going down.
So with regards to, okay, so let's just say if I'm sat here and there's 2 scenarios. One, I'm now deep in the red after the crash because I didn't have a stop loss. What should I do? And B, I managed to listen to you and put stop losses on, but now I'm sat with a load of USDT. What do I do from there? Obviously, within your own opinions, not advice.
Yeah. So let's go to the USDT dominance chart, because that's an important one as well. And have a look. And well, there we go. So this was my waveform, and the group know it because I've been saying, okay, potentially this is the top of the waveform, but it could go this high, and it looks like it's going this high. So essentially, I'm going to put this up to a daily. We've got a section here which is potentially that fourth wave and then coming back down for the fifth. Now, when that comes back down to the fifth, that's our bull run. You know, at this point, when we get a reversal, that's going to be literally the bottom. So, you know, it could go as high here as 7.5. That's a bit ugly for our market because that means that everyone's sitting patiently in their USDT and nobody's buying. So what we need for people to buy is essentially a capitulation event. Now, what a capitulation event is basically a black swan event. It just means it's a reset of the market, and the buyers come out because there's bargains to be had, and that's when the charts go through the roof. So going back to that Bitcoin chart, we don't have a lot of buyers here. We don't have that really strong reaction that we have seen. So that's telling me that this USDT dominance is continuing higher. And, you know, it's almost at one of the pivots, which is at 7. The next pivot above that is 7.5. So they are regions to be watching. It does look like it's doing a fairly strong wave here. So that's going to be the region we look at. So, you know, then it wants to sort of dip right down and have that fifth wave. Now, that fifth wave needs to go to 2. When we get to around the 2% in USDT, when we're on the other side and you know, Bitcoin's really high, the crypto market's like really buoyant and, you know, there's a lot of money in there. That's when we go, hang on a sec, there's too much excitement about the market. It's time to go back into USDT. And that's probably when, you know, we'll see those first sort of major declines after the market has risen. But at the moment, we're just waiting for this reset to happen. We're waiting for essentially just a flush out of the market. And that way the new money can come in. And everyone that's been sitting patiently and waiting for this event will have, you know, their money ready and waiting. So, and yeah, it's almost impossible to catch the bottoms. So, you know, if you are a long-term holder and you do have a portfolio that you've been building, the GSIC portfolio is in USDT at the moment. We're sitting at about 95% profit from when we started. And we're going to start, not yet, but over the probably, you know, this month at some point, we'll start laddering back into these, you know, breaking down our portfolio, building a new portfolio and keeping that, getting that ready for the bull run. So it's just all timing at the moment and a little bit more patience.
Okay. Is it worth looking at alts at all, or are they all going to be looking the same right now?
They're a bit ugly. So I think, you know, they're going to just keep dipping and dipping. You know, the one to look at is probably Solana, you know, because it last week crossed and is now higher than BNB, sitting at 4th, I believe. So potentially this is going deeper. One pattern that I want to actually say and you know, sort of bring up is one that I've mentioned to a couple of traders on X, is that there's been a doji. This is the weekly chart, and there's a major doji on this chart. There was a major doji on the weekly BTC, and, you know, everyone was getting super bullish, and I'm like, I'm not sure we're there yet. You know, I want to be excited about this, and I want to, you know, get this going, but we can see there's a doji there. Now, a doji candle, if you want to get into candles, you can trade via candles. There's lots of different ways of trading: Elliott wave, support and resistance candles. But knowing a bit of everything will give you an edge. So knowing candles and what they mean basically means when you see a doji there, or you know, something like that, that means that it's been pushed up and the sellers are absolutely exhausted. The buyers are absolutely exhausted, and they, you know, they couldn't push it up anymore. And this has closed with the buyers going, no, 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 we're going to push it down on the next candle. So, which happened. And you can see that's happened on Bitcoin, and it has happened, same pattern on Solana. So I think one of my lights just went out. So the universe didn't like me saying that. So Solana is just hanging on at the moment to the support. It's managed to climb back over after breaking down to the 0.88 fib. Now, it does have a pattern memory of going to the 1.236 when we go back through all the waves. That pattern memory is $78. It also meets the 100 and the 200 MAs on the weekly. So that's a really strong region to have a gamble. So that's not financial advice, but it's what I am going to be doing. The other region to watch is the 1618, which is all the way down at $42. Imagine buying Solana again at $42. It's like, that is the biggest buying opportunity you're ever going to get, because I really, really, really do think Solana, this, you know, next run is going to see 10 times, maybe even 20 times on these charts. And, you know, if you're a leverage trader and you catch the bottom, you just want to be, you know, averaging that out and keeping going. So there's as we get into the market and we've got leverage traders, we can look at low risk leverage trading. So I know you all like to go 100 times, but we can look at low risk. I don't look at anything high risk because I like money, basically.
Okay. So it's not all doom and gloom. There are glimmers of hope, but we've just got to sit on our hands again.
Yeah, I think, you know, I'm excited for the bull run. It's just not here yet. It's almost here. We can see that it's almost here. We just need this capitulation event to happen, and we are off and running. Again, keep an eye on the whale alerts. Keep an eye on Tether, because if we get a Tether print, we are going up. That goes without saying.
And I imagine in getting started in crypto in the group, we will have updates of when the GSIC portfolio starts to DCA back in.
We will, and we're going to change some of those coins because we had some underperforming coins, some more performing coins, and we've been watching the market and seeing what everyone is buying. So what everyone wants to continue to buy. So we're going to adjust that portfolio a little bit to make it even healthier for the bull run.
Okay. And so just in general, your views on the world and the climate we live in. It's very easy to get sucked into X and all the fear mongering, the FUD out there, and this and that. How do you? What do you think?
Like, I definitely think people are finding it harder with housing, with food, with, you know, general expenses like electricity, gas, that sort of stuff. You know, interest rates have risen to a point where it's become so tight for families that it is at breaking point. That's showing in the markets. So we need to get that quantitative easing starting as soon as possible as of September, because I really do think with these dips in the market, they're going to be under their levels of their, you know, inflation, because it's all come down. So, you know, just hang in there, guys, because I think overall, this is looking good. You know, obviously we don't want sort of world wars or all that sort of stuff to happen with what was happening in that defense chart. But, you know, overall, I think within this run, there's going to be some strong bounces. There's going to be money to be made, and there's always money to be made in the market. It's just all about timing. So getting that timing right, and always having a stop loss, especially if you're leverage trading. So if you're underwater, know when to cut the trades. I call it the Kenny Rogers sort of. I put it in the group often. So it's the Kenny Rogers rule of trading: know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. And that's like, you never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough to count it when the dealing's done. So that means when the trade's finished, you've either got a win or a loss, and you can move forward with the next one. But if you're setting that trade up and you're understanding how to make money, how to trade, you're going to be, winning more than you're losing. So as long as you are 50% profitable with money management, you are going to be profitable. So it's all about money management, especially in corrective regions.
I think as well for crypto, one of the biggest things is patience. Easier done in the traditional markets because it does move slowly in comparison. I think people tend to jump into crypto because of the stories they've heard, because of the volatility, and expecting in a way to end up after month one with a portfolio at 1,000% in profit. So patience is going to be key here.
Yeah, we all want to get rich overnight. Believe that's why everyone enters lotto, but it just doesn't happen for everyone. So put in the work, learn how to trade, and get that mindset right. Get that winning attitude. Understand how the market works and allow it to work for you, not against you, because that's how you're going to succeed over time. And it's not a one-way thing. Even the greatest of traders get liquidated. Even the greatest of traders have thought that they're God and they've lost their bags. When I first got into crypto, I went, oh my God, this is the easiest thing ever. And Bitcoin went to from like $30 to $1,300. This is back in 2012 or 2013. I thought I was like the biggest legend ever. The next day I woke up, it was back down at about $50. So I'm like, so that's when I learned that stop losses were essential.
The market will humble everyone. Absolutely. Okay, anything else you want to just cover before we wrap up the wrap up?
Yeah, no, I think I've covered everything we need to. But if you've got any questions or any concerns, please reach out. It's like we're here to help. We really are.
Yeah, especially in getting started in crypto. Obviously, in the group, you can literally chat with Lisa and our other signals experts in there. But I'd imagine as well on X and stuff, people are able to reach out. You're pretty good at replying to those who have genuine questions.
I will, yeah. If you're being rude, I'll probably mute you. So I'll probably never see your questions ever again.
Fair enough. Okay, cool. Well, thanks everyone for joining. Play it safe out there, and keep in touch and have a great week ahead. We'll catch you soon. Bye.